Kick back on them in the whip that's foreign. Drip drop on them with a chick that's gorgeous.
Alright, we got episode number 3. Let's rap. Today we got blessed by the real Peake or Peake. Yeah. Alright, man. Thanks for being here. You could be anywhere. You chose to be here with us. We appreciate it. Showing love, and we definitely want to show the love back. So, the way we're gonna kind of do this is I just want to get an idea of what your music career is like, how you started. Give some advice to younger people or anybody trying to that wants to get into the field. You know what I mean? So I guess let's start off with just asking you, how did you start? Why did you start?
Alright, so I've always had like a love for music. It's crazy how someone who's, I guess to jump ahead, is like hearing impaired but loves music so much. So like it's just always been a love of mine. By high school, I kind of dabbled with some beat making. You download that Fruity Loops, whatever, right? And you just kind of fiddle around.
I tried, but
at first it's like there's so much and you're just blown away. But yeah, you slowly pick at it. Years kind of throwing beats out there. And then just started linking up with one of my boys. Then we hung out in high school, but stopped hanging out. And then we linked up a couple years later, and he's like, we just messed around. He had a mic, and I was like, all right, every now and then I start writing. So we just tried on this one beat here. I think we were just, one day we just like gone out of our minds, just having fun with it. So I went on and did it, laid it out, and then he finished. He just got up and he's like, dude, that was amazing.
Right.
Gotta do some more. So I'm like, all right, I wasn't really thinking about it, but let's do it, right? So, one at a time. We made a couple tracks together, and we initially came out as together, right, as a little group or whatever, but he was still trying to figure out his sound, his craft and whatnot, and I was kind of confident where I was at already, so he kind of like gave me the green light to start doing some single stuff, and he's helping out along the way, like not going anywhere, it's just he prefer me doing my shit, right, so started doing that up in 2016, dropped my first song as a solo, and kind of got a good reaction from the peers, from people around me, and just keep going and going. I think around September 2016, that's when I started doing my first shows. My friend Jadon, he's from up north, but he linked me up. He linked me up and he was like, hey man, I'm doing some shows, some Barrie, Newmarket and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it up. I need some exposure, I need to get some practice. Never been on stage, and the only time I was on stage in high school was singing some songs, but it's not a real experience. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of personal growth came from it, because it is what it is. When you start out in music and you go to do your first show, it is what it is. There's not many people there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just you're really getting the feel for the stage as is and how your performance and your presence is. So that's what it was. And so because I knew that with shows, in order to get a good response and good reaction and a good turnout, you have to be somewhat popping in the way. So that's when I decided, it's like, okay, I can keep doing shows, but if it's minimal people, kind of the same people, it's not really going anywhere. So I just need to focus on the craft, focus on the social media side of things, and just connecting with people and building relationships. Because a lot of people come into this and their mentality is like, I'm gonna do it myself, don't really need anybody, you know what I mean? If I'm good, it'll show itself. And it's not really how it works. You can be the best person in the world, but you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have any help.
Absolutely.
That's the reality of things. So
absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just building up things and building up connection with people, and whether it be from the States or from places in Ontario or some places in BC, whatever it may be. Just 1, 2, and building that bond to when, they start dropping music, you kind of let people know, and vice versa, and you kind of build those relationships. And that's what it's really been. And at some point in 2017, I want to say, just started like applying for grants and whatnot. So, ended up getting accepted for one, so I got a few grand to kind of get things started up with recording and proper studio, get some camera work, and get a new laptop and whatnot. Because I be editing my own videos, and so if you got a crappy laptop, it's not going to do anything. So, you ever been trying to edit and it's just lagging? So, so I just been practicing that, and it's hard to like focus on one area of things when you're doing everything, but I'd rather do it the way I'm doing it now, because whatever it may be, if someone needs help or if we need a collab, there's no real limitation, because I can generally say, I can do it, and if I need help, then generally need help. So just been putting out music consistently like that. So ever since, got a few tracks out there that I've been able to break out in some ways. Some got a few thousand, some near 15,000. Just slowly but surely building up, and just kind of in the place I'm at now.
But I was gonna ask you, just touching on, you said it earlier about being hearing impaired. Sorry, just talk to that, like, what that's like in the world that you're in.
Yeah, for sure. So like when I was born, I was fine, right? I didn't need hearing aids. In about 1.5, I developed some serious inner ear infection on both sides, and my sister got a similar thing. But whatever they did to help, it worked for her, but it didn't work for me. So, long story short, got my hearing aids at about 2 when they were able to figure out what's going on. Because eventually, my mom was trying to like stomp on the floor, and she still can't get my attention. So, she knew something was up. So I got my hearing aids and a little bit of speech therapy in kindergarten. But because I was starting to talk, and then I lost my hearing, that's why I'm able to communicate as is right now.
Right.
A couple of words, a little bit of slurs on the S's and whatnot, but for the most part, I don't know any sign language. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
when I listen to your music, I don't hear none of that, so it's
that's
good.
The goal, right? So that's the goal. Like, as long as, I ain't trying to, I guess for lack of a better word, just sound deaf. You know what I mean? Because there is a tone. There is a place from the chest and the nose that you can tell when someone's got a hearing impairment. So I guess in some ways I try to hide it, but at some time it's also ways for me to embrace it, because no matter how hard I try, I'm always going to have a different sound because of it. So I've learned to embrace it, accept it the way it is. And like I said, it's hard to really know. Unless I say something, like, you're not going to know I'm deaf. You know what I mean?
I would consider it your superpower, you know what I'm saying? Bro, like, sick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of perks, man. It's like, for example, it's like I can control what I hear. If like I go on the bus and there's a crying baby, I turn off the hearing aid because I ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone's yelling at me, I turn off my hearing aid because I ain't trying to hear it. It's just, it's whatever it is. So I got my perk. You want to have a good sleep, you take out the hearing aids and you got a quiet room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I've learned to, there was times in my life where you go through it as a kid, you're like, why me, all that crap, but, I love it. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way, because, like I said, I can control what I hear, right? So,
absolutely.
The only thing I gotta watch is hitting up water, but I ain't jumping into any pools anytime soon, right?
Right.
It's no biggie, so.
That to me is crazy, man. Like, and I think, obviously there's something to be said that you're still able to persevere and still do what you do, man. That's amazing. And I think that's very empowering to other people. That, it doesn't matter what kind of disability you have, you can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. Like, and a lot of my motivations come from, I guess, trying to be normal, for lack of a better term. It's like, I don't want it to hold me back. You know what I mean? And I've learned from a lot of people, and I want to show people that it's like, no matter what you're going through, like, if you really love something and want to do it, nothing's going to really stop you. You know what I mean? You could be the worst sounding, the best sounding, whatever it may be, no legs, no arms, whatever. But if you want to do it, like, by all means, go do it, because there's been weirder situations in this world. You know what I mean?
100%.
Right? Like, you got blind famous people, Ray Charles, right? Like, you know what I mean? He's blind, but that didn't stop him from playing the piano, right? So that's why, if you want to do something, you go do it. And that, like, I've never really let hearing impairment stop. Like, people, like, try to make jokes or whatnot, but it really doesn't faze me, because I will be the source of the jokes a lot of times. You know what I mean? Because it's like too much negative energy, or you can waste too much time getting down because of it. And it's like, if it doesn't control you, like, hearing impairment doesn't control you. You know what I mean? So I'm going to hit you with the jokes. I'm going to hit you with maybe some of the tone and the accent. It's going to catch people off guard. There's been cases where, because people don't know I'm deaf, I can make a deaf joke, they get offended. Right? And they're like, you shouldn't say that. And I just told them out. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's all good. Exactly. I totally understand. So, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. The only time it does affect me is if my battery dies in public. And then it's like, well,
absolutely. Right.
Back on them in the whip that's foreign. Drip drop on them with a chick that's gorgeous.